Good day, Kaiserites. Thanks for joining us for this online town hall. I'm the city manager for Kaiser, Oregon. We're making this recording available for you because your city council really wants to hear from our residents if Kaiser should intentionally seek to grow. So one of the first things I want to introduce you to is this concept of an urban growth boundary. And what does it have to do about whether Kaiser should grow or not? So my goal today is to be informational, factual, unbiased, and understandable. So you might be asking yourself, why can't Kaiser just expand however they want? And that's because our fate is tied to Salem's because we share an urban growth boundary. You see, Oregon's land use laws were meant to protect farmland and forest land. So they created boundaries around cities to keep them from sprawling. All but 2 cities left in the state have their own urban growth boundaries. But you guessed it, Kaiser and Salem are the 2 still left combined. Therefore, as long as we're combined, Kaiser and Salem's fates are combined together. And right now, the only growth left in the urban growth boundary is bordering Salem. Kaiser's boundaries are all built out. Now, this has nothing to do with how Salem and Kaiser get along. We've lived together for a long time. But what are our options? First of all, we need to decide whether we want to grow or not. Without expanding our urban growth boundary, what we're seeing now is infill housing, which will squeeze wherever and however it can. It seems like the most obvious answer would be to separate from Salem, but things are never that simple. If that were Kaiser's choice, Marion County, Polk County, and the city of Salem would all have to agree with the city of Kaiser to separate. The other way to do it would be legislatively through a bill. Whether it's done through cooperation or through a legislative process, there's still ambiguity in the outcome. You see, Oregon's land use planning at a state level is designed so that every city is self-contained and has all the different types of land uses within the same city. Consequently, we may not have the type of say we want separated than we would have together. Oh yeah, and remember those state goals of preserving farmland and forest land? We still have to consider that. The state is going to require us to use the most least desirable land first. Not only that, but they're going to make sure that we're using the land we have as efficiently as possible. And they'll send us back to the drawing board if we're not. So there's a few more things we need to think about on this issue. The cost of growth is important as we think about expanding. We have to think about utilities, roads, parks, public safety, schools, and other services. A study was done in 2018 that looked at 2 different options. The first option relied on densification on River Road and then added job-centered growth north of town on River Road. The estimated cost of that growth was $17 million. The second option looked at adding both residential development and job development north of town. That option was estimated to cost $36 million. So now if you're asking yourself, well, who pays that cost? In an ideal world, development would pay for development. But in reality, a lot of different entities are going to end up picking up some of that cost. One of the last things I want to talk about is something known as the exception lands. These are properties that are outside of our urban growth boundary, but are already identified to go in if the city expands. As you can see from the map, these are properties up between River Road, Clear Lake Road, and Quinnipiac. We've talked about some of the financial impacts of the growth, but during previous survey work, we also considered some non-fiscal considerations like keeping a small town feel, changing the neighborhood character, and should Kaiser be a one high school town? There was an opportunity opened up during this last year from the governor that allowed cities of more than 25,000 people to expand by a maximum of 100 net acres. There are, however, some issues that would be problematic for Kaiser. We still have to respect the preservation of farmland and forest land, of which we have a lot that surrounds Kaiser. On this map, you can see all the white area outside the urban growth boundary area is designated as EFU, exclusive farm use. The one other possibility without an expansion of the urban growth boundary is to exchange lands between the city of Salem and the city of Kaiser. This would require Kaiser, Salem, Polk County, and Marion County to agree, which is possible because we're all mutually supporting neighbors. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in a very short period of time, but your city council really wants to hear back from you. If you can go to this website and click on it to complete our survey, that would provide us the feedback that we're looking for. Thanks for giving some of your time to the City of Kaiser.